This episode is brought to you by the Fish Sauce RPG. Unleash the power of precision. Our RPG, rod positioning gadget, is the ultimate tool for adjusting Scotty or Folby rod holders.
No more struggles or worn-out tools, just smooth, easy adjustments. Elevate your fishing game and shop the RPG now.
www.fishsauce.com.
And now we got a huge shout out to our next sponsor, Cold Water Strong. Cold Water Strong makes high-quality gear for boat and bank anglers alike, from flasher bumpers and bank fishing leader kits to kill bags and bleed bags. Cold Water Strong has the gear to make you the hot rod in the boat or on the bank. Get your Cold Water Strong products at local fishing retailers like Bob's Sporting Goods in Longview, Anglers Unlimited, previously Angler West in Woodland, and Fisherman Marine and Outdoor. Go visit their website at www.coldwaterstrong.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of the Wet Net Podcast. Might look a little weird. We're doing something different.
I like it.
We're recording out here in the boat today. I'm sitting here with Chase Martinsen of Homewater Guide Service. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome, man. Adam, gone again. But to be fair, we tried to do this yesterday. It didn't go quite according to plan. So we're retrying it again today, and we're going to see how it goes.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. First things first, we're going to try to get back into some turbidity and river levels and stuff, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed real quick. Probably looks stupid, but that's fine. Oh, come on here, you bastard. In my touch ID. Alrighty, first things first, we're just going to run through these real quick because it's still halfway irrelevant. Columbia River at Vancouver, our turbidity is sitting at a 3. So for any of you guys fishing Vancouver, it's looking pretty fucking good up there. You get up above the Willamette pumping out shit. Columbia River at Quincy, Oregon, which is down a little lower in the system, looking about a 7. So it's shaping up. It should be pretty okay come the weekend. Today's Thursday by the way. So we got a couple days for that to drop into shape. Willamette River is still on the rise. Willamette River is sitting at a 17, and so I wouldn't plan on doing that this weekend. Dam counts, pretty much the same. We had a couple fish go over this last week, so we're at 5 total over Bonneville Dam right now, and we're still sitting at 1 total over Willamette Falls. So we got cool shit happening there.
Yep.
So, all right, now we got that weird, awkward stuff out of the way. Chase, why don't you take a minute, tell us a little bit about who you are, kind of what you do, and kind of what you've been up to these last couple months to keep yourself busy.
Well, I'm Chase Martinsen, owner-operator, Homewater Guide Service out of Castle Rock, Washington. Grew up fishing the Cowlitz, Green River, the Toutle, Columbia. And the last few months, I've been steelhead fishing.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Super cool. You spend a lot of your time on the Cowlitz there?
The last couple of years, not so much. Been fishing some of these other tributaries out of the drift boat. So,
yeah.
Real personal trips.
Yeah.
That way.
Very nice. Very nice. What do you have for a drift boat?
15-foot Alumaweld.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So,
very nice. How long have you had that?
Since January.
Oh, okay.
So,
very nice. You've been rowing for a while, though?
No.
I
I have rowed rafts and one-man pontoon boats in the past and was always against drift boats, and then went with a couple buddies and decided I wanted to get one and got it and practiced, and the last month I've been running trips out of it.
Gotcha. Very cool. You having pretty good success?
Yeah, we've been doing really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about kind of your background. Let's start from the time you were a kid. You said you grew up fishing the Cowlitz. Tell us a little bit about that.
I got really spoiled.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, back when fishing was really good. It was nothing to go out and hook 20, 30 fish a day.
Oh, really? 20, 30 steelhead in a day?
Yeah, steelhead.
Man, I wish I were born sooner.
it was good times, but my great-grandpa fished, which got my dad into fishing, which got me and my brother into it, and we've got pictures from the time I was in diapers and just walking up at the high lakes up at Mount St. Helens fishing, and then we'd fish Green River. And
Where, just out of curiosity, I've never even heard of Green River. Whereabouts is that at?
Out of Toutle.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So go ahead and continue.
And fishing was good. We did a lot of glow balling, night fishing. And then they did away with the hatchery steelhead program. And so there's pretty much only wild fish in there now.
Yeah, which is tough, especially when you're running clients.
Right.
You know, clients want to bunk fish.
Right. And the callets, I mean, it's just gone downhill, in my opinion, too. You can still go get in a mob of people up at Blue Creek and catch fish if that's your kind of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, a little bit of combat fishing.
Yeah.
I really dig that combat fishing, man. I love it. I spend a lot of time at Drano and Wind River and, you know, little competitive fisheries.
Right.
I love them. I absolutely love them. So we were talking a little bit yesterday when we did this podcast the first time, and I really wanted to try to dig a little bit deeper into your time in Alaska. So why don't you kind of tell us how that started? How did you kind of get into that gig?
So I was working for a tugboat outfit and screwed my back up and ended up having to have a couple back surgeries.
Oh, okay.
So not being able to go back doing that, I decided to go get my Coast Guard certification, get my 6-pack license, and go guide full time.
Gotcha. Did you go get that down south, or did you go up north?
I went Portland when it was there. Now,
gotcha.
Now it's in Coos Bay.
Gotcha. Very cool.
So I was running trips before then, but I didn't need the certification because I was on non-navigable waters.
Mm.
So got that and seen an ad for captain in Alaska. Applied, got the job, and the rest is history as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But as far as what we did up there, we were on the Salt, working, fishing the inside passage between Juneau and Petersburg.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So fished everything from halibut, lingcod, rockfish, all the way to all 5 salmon species.
Yeah. Very cool. What was your favorite? If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one to target, lingcod.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And you can still do that over here too.
Yeah.
So super cool. Is there kind of any difference in how you target them up there versus down here, or is it pretty much the same thing?
Same thing. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking for schools of rockfish. They'll be underneath them. Real rocky stuff.
Yeah. Is there any more size to them up there?
We got some big ones.
Did you?
Trying to think what the biggest one was. 56 inches, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was big.
Yeah.
But we have slot sizes up there, so if I remember right, it was like 24 to 42, and then it had to be over 52.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
kind of get out of that breeder.
Right.
Okay.
But we found some spots where we could go get big fish every time we dropped into there, so clients really like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. How about halibut? You guys getting some big halibut too?
We did, but again, it's slot size, so each year it varied. Sometimes it was 38. And other times it was 45 was max. So we didn't really go target the big fish because you bring one of those in the boat, it's going to kill somebody.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
So
yeah. So how long were you up there in Alaska?
I think it was 2016.
Okay.
Till 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So a good handful of years.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got to experience some pretty cool stuff.
It was really cool up there.
Cool wildlife and
lots of bears and eagles.
Yeah. That's
whales.
killer. That's killer. Did they have you guys up in a lodge or something over there? Or?
No, so we were on a 96-foot liveaboard.
Oh, okay.
It was if I remember right, a shrimp boat from Louisiana turned into a living quarters.
Forrest Gump would be pissed.
Right. 6 staterooms. So we'd have like 2 groups of 8, or 1 group of 8, 2 groups of 4, 2 guide boats. We towed them behind. We'd pick clients up Sunday morning, get on the boat, go through safety inspection or safety orientation, all that, take off. At noon, we'd have lunch, get everybody's fishing license and everything ready to go, and pull the guide boats up, jump on, take off, meet fish, rockfish and halibut usually that first evening. Meet the big boat where we decided to spend the night, clean fish, eat dinner, get boats ready, go to bed, do it all over again the next day.
Yeah, man. Well, so what were the seasons like out there? Like when, would you start like spring and run through the fall, or like how long was the hitch?
See, it's March now, end of March usually, and then come back middle of September.
Yeah.
So, and when I first started going up there, we were doing steelhead trips, beginning March, April, that first part, fly fishing on some of the streams up there on a couple different islands.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you guys ever get any of those sea run trout up there too? Or is that not really something they get?
It's not something we ever got. Every once in a while we'd get a dolly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Super cool. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, not giving you a lot of time to think about it. Is there one specific memory that just stuck in your brain, like either like a super cool fish or a super big fish, or just something? Something sticks out.
So it was a 2-week period. So the first week we were up there, we were fishing this one, troll, I guess you'd call it.
Mm.
Hooked a big fish, handed the rod off. I got to feel it for a second. I knew it was big, broke us off. The following week, same spot, hooked into another big fish there and landed it, and it ended up being the biggest fish I've ever put in the boat. And
really?
55 pounds.
Was it Chinook?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man, picture it didn't happen.
It was pretty cool, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah. That's awesome. Man, I'd love to see a 55-pound. You couldn't even fit your hand around the tail.
Could not get my hand. Well, so he came up, and I told him he wasn't done yet because it was the first time he came up. Well, he went on his side, so I didn't give him a second chance.
Mm.
Netted him, threw him in the boat, and got us off the rocks. I hadn't even realized how big it was yet.
Yeah.
Then I looked back and seen how big, and I was like, holy crap, do you know what you just did?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious what a record up there would be. Like, what would be a record-sized fish? I mean, I'm sure it's probably different now, but...
I can't remember. I've seen pictures of fish in the 90s.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez. What a time, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What's next? So that time... I'm thinking. And I'm not going to edit this out either. I want to try to keep this shit raw.
That's good.
With road noise and everything.
Sounds good.
So you went from running trips in Alaska to running trips over here. What was kind of the turning point? What made you make that decision to quit going up there? Was it just you kind of taking off your business here, kids getting older, just kind of a mixture?
A mixture of both, but really my wife and kids.
Yeah.
Being gone that long, and my daughter, I think she was 3 or 4 at the time when I started going up there, and I missed a lot of her growing up.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Along with the other 2 boys, and it sucked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're glad to have you back.
Yeah. Well, in this way, I'm home most nights. As springtime, fall, we travel, but for the most part, I'm home more times than I'm gone.
Yeah. I mean, you had told me a little bit earlier today about coaching some baseball and stuff. I'm sure that was probably kind of tough to do when you're in Alaska.
Yeah, it's always I'd get a team and then see you guys later. I gotta go.
Yeah. Geez. Well, that's pretty cool. So you said you've been doing some steelhead fishing. Kind of what's next? Do you do much in terms of springers and stuff?
Yeah. This year I'm going to kind of take it slow on the springers. I'm going to fish steelhead till we can't, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wants to go fish springers, we'll go fish them.
Yeah.
But steelhead fishing's good, so I'm going to stay on them.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you do a lot of stuff on the main stem Columbia, or are you kind of a tributary guy, or you go upriver?
I like tributary fishing, but I go where the fishing's good.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I guess.
I've got the drift boat. I've got the big boat. I'll go up to Drano if I have to.
You get in there in the toilet bowl?
No, I'll stay out in the main lake.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wherever the fishing's good. Like this year, come July, I'm looking forward to fishing up at Brewster for the sockeye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice. Without giving away too many secrets, say for example, I'm a brand new fisherman. I'm looking to brine a set of herring. Basic, get me on the water. What are you gonna do?
Zilla.
Yeah, very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. That herring cure and the herring brine, I really kind of fell in love with them last year.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used the cure quite as much. Just because I don't like having to go through the extra steps of adding sugar, you know.
Right.
I like, just dumping the shit in there and go.
Yep.
So for simplicity, I really like the brine, but I can see where the cure would would kind of stand out.
Either or works. If you're in a pinch, they're quick, they're simple. Follow the directions, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you could even go and get a bottle of the Pro Cure, just the bottled shit. I did that for a lot of years, and I ended up kind of moving away from it because even though it's mass produced in bottles, I still felt like I was getting some inconsistency, which I couldn't explain.
Right.
It's like you're getting the shit from the bottle. I'm preparing my herring the same way. I puncture the tray, I let it breathe, and I still felt like I was getting inconsistencies.
Right. It's either too soft or too hard. And,
right. You're getting shriveled baits, or you're getting them where they're still fucking flaccid.
Right.
So it's just I kind of moved away from that, and I using that Northwest Bait and Scent herring brine, dude. I fell in love with that last year.
Nope, that's a great brine to use.
Yeah. Do you go kind of crazy with scents, or do you just kind of leave it alone?
I'll add some vanilla or some anise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice. Not too big of secrets.
No, those aren't. And then I've got a few other things that I'll add.
Yeah. Kind of keep those on the down low. Keep those off the pod.
Try to for now.
Yeah, very nice. So with you, we talked a little bit yesterday. I'm trying to remember the conversations we had yesterday and today. So we talked a little bit yesterday. So you're a Washington only guy.
Yes.
You can't go below the Longview Bridge.
Not for anything other than steelhead.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. When you're on the main stem Columbia, are there any kind of tips and tricks that you would have for a beginner? Not from like a bait aspect of it. Everybody knows that the bait is its own separate ball game in terms of brining it to getting it to spin to anything else. So thinking bait away, what are some tips and tricks that you would have for a beginner to just help them get a right idea of how to get these fish? Like, are you fishing them suspended? You fishing them on the bottom? Like,
really depends on how the tide's running.
Yeah.
Incoming, outgoing. Is it the top of the tide, the bottom of the tide?
Mm-hmm.
Find the points. Start there.
Yeah.
They're going to cut corners and
current breaks and seams and
all the same stuff you're looking for on the small rivers, only it's a little bit bigger out there.
Yeah. Well, it's the same way I try to look at Buoy 10. You get a really big area, you try to break it down like a small river.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Divide it in quarters.
Yeah. Absolutely. So how long have you been running trips out of the big boat then, pretty much since you got back from Alaska?
Yeah. I was doing it off and on while I was coming home from Alaska, but I'm gone 6-7 months. I want to take that time off before I've got to go back. But I did run a few trips here and there.
Yeah.
But it's been full time here for the last 2 years.
Gotcha. Very cool. So we're going to backtrack here even a little bit further. Was what really made you decide you wanted to be a fishing guide? Just the love for fishing? Was it the love for getting other people on fish?
Yes, both. I love fishing. This way I get to fish almost every day.
Yeah.
And then I get to take a lot of people out and put them on fish.
Yeah. That's super cool.
I don't have to catch the fish. I'm living it through the guys reeling it in the boat. You know?
Absolutely. I'm not even a fishing guide, and I get the same feeling. I was out fishing earlier today doing kokanee stuff with Adam, and he's like, "Hey man, why don't you come grab this rod?" I'm like, "No, you take it."
Yeah,
you take it.
It's so fun watching kids or women or whoever it is fight a fish. And I do a lot of veteran trips and get to see a lot of those guys. They've never fished before.
Yeah.
They've did a couple fall trips this year with guys that had never caught a fish in their life.
Yeah.
And to put them on their first salmon was just phenomenal.
Gotcha. So with those veteran trips, are you running those at no cost to the veteran, or are they discounted?
No cost to the vets.
Gotcha.
I try to do one a month. Some months I do two.
Mm-hmm.
So just my way of giving back. That was something when I started this, I was very passionate about.
Right.
And so the wife and everybody knew that it was something I was going to do when I started the business.
Yeah. So do you do that through any specific organization, or do you just kind of do that?
So I do it on my own, but also I work with the Fallen Outdoors and Wishes for Warriors.
Okay. Gotcha. Very cool. How long have you been with the Fallen Outdoors? Pretty much since you started guiding?
No, this last fall was the first time I did a trip with those guys, and I think I've done 2 or 3 now with them.
Gotcha.
So.
Very cool. So why don't we forget about you for a minute?
Okay.
I guess it's still kind of you. You brought some rods today. I can see you're wearing your Talon sweatshirt.
Yeah.
You're wearing your Talon hat. You're affiliated with Talon in some specific way. So first things first, tell us kind of how that affiliation works, kind of how that affiliation got started, and then if you want to, and then from there we'll kind of move into the rods that you brought.
So I was running feather sticks for a long time, and a real good friend of mine started that company, and they've been out of business for a little while now, and ran into a guy last spring while we were fishing springers, and he was fishing Talon and kept talking to me, wanting me to switch, and finally I went, bought a couple rods, tried them out, and really fell in love with them. Started with the 360 rods, and then I got the kokanee rods, and now I've got glass plug rods and twitching rods and drift rods and
just all of them.
All of them, yeah. And they treat me good, and I love fishing their rods.
Yeah, very cool. And they're USA made, so that's also another big plus.
Yes, they're all built right there in Woodland, Washington.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll take your microphone here for a second if you want to grab your rods.
Yeah.
We'll take the headphones off too. We'd probably just start with one.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the mic. I can hold that for a sec while you throw the headphones on. We're very raw and original and unedited, so I hope you guys are loving this. What do you got here?
All right, so this is our kokanee rod. It's an E-Glass Super Eagle, 8 foot, one piece. It's a 4 to 8 pound test, and this one was built for Rob McCready, who's a vet that was battling cancer.
Oh, okay. That's super cool.
So it says "fuck cancer" on it.
Oh, perfect. And the colors on it are fucking dope, dude.
Yeah.
Those are sick.
So
I love feeling the action on it.
that one is designed for like downriggers, for your kokanee fishing, sockeye fishing, but I use them for my plug rods for steelhead fishing.
Gotcha. Man, I bet that's a blast.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's the thing, up in Alaska, we were known for using light gear for all those big fish.
Yeah.
So that's something I kind of brought down here with my outfit is light gear equals more fun.
Yeah. Ken Vellante would be pissed. We just had that conversation last week.
Right. I listened to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I'm an old school guy. I grew up fishing glass rods.
Yeah.
Growing up in the 80s and 90s, that's what my dad, my great-grandpa, and my grandpa had. And to me, my opinion, you can't get a better rod than a glass rod.
No, dude, this thing feels slick and it looks awesome. And what would be the price tag on one of these? Do you know roughly? If you don't, it's no big deal.
I think what were we selling those for? $150, I think.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I was right about the same as a Guide Select Classic.
Right.
Which everybody knows by now that's what I run. Right. So, very cool.
And then our normal kokanee rods, I run a 7 foot and a 9 foot. They're 2-piece rods. They're right around $100 each.
Gotcha. Very cool. So you want to move on to the next rod there?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, I'll hold that. Try to keep some of the bouncing noises off. I'm sure you guys are loving the road noise and the wind and everything, but I'm kind of curious how this is going to work out. But we're experimenting here. The garage gets kind of boring.
Oh, I think it's going to work out great.
I think so. I got to tell you, man, just a little side note here. Your beard is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. So's yours.
Yeah, I just had to take care of it. I did a buddy's bachelor party.
Oh.
Yeah, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? But I had it nice and big, and I had to take the sides off.
Yeah,
but we're working on
I
it.
did that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this is another E-Glass rod. This is our 810. It's a 20 to 60 pound. It's what we call our heavy. And I like this for running my herring and triangles.
Okay.
But it's also another rod I use for plug fishing for fall chinook,
Gotcha.
spring chinook, sitting on the hook, running quick fish or meg lips. Again, I'm a glass rod guy.
Yeah.
So we make a composite also, but you can't beat a glass rod.
Yeah, absolutely. And for being a 20 to 60, I mean, this thing still feels like it's got plenty of flex.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've got some videos of them taking it down.
Yeah.
Back trolling plugs this last fall.
Yeah. No, before you had handed it to me and you said 20 to 60, I was expecting to feel a big old meat stick.
Right.
But no, dude, this thing's
big broom handle.
Yeah, this thing's killer, man.
And then we make one in between those two. It's a 10 to 30.
Okay.
So that's our light action. And again, I use that for steelhead and coho, pulling plugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Very nice. Very nice. We'll move to your last one here real quick.
All right.
Get the jumbling out of the way.
One more.
Get all the jumbling out of the way. So, yeah, I personally don't have a lot of, actually, I should rephrase that. I don't think I have really any experience fishing glass rods. So one of these days, if you get an open seat, I might need to jump in your boat and see what it's about.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. No,
All right.
very cool.
And this last rod I brought is our 360 rod. And it's the 1066 or 106-6. This is a 10.5 foot rod. Mm. These are my bow and my midship rods. And then I run a 9.6 out the back.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's a composite, but again, they were designed for trolling the 360s and that heavy lead.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that glass rod there was what I used for sturgeon fishing.
Really?
This last opener.
Oh man, that'd be a blast.
I don't recommend it, but they will hold up.
I can imagine it'd be tough, kind of set, because that rod has a lot of flex. I can imagine setting the hook.
Setting the hook, you really got to get into it.
Yeah, and I can imagine. I mean, I'm sure these glass rods are pretty strong, but just in the back of your head, just being, oh shit,
right, right. But yeah, that's what I run for 360s. Last year I ran triangles on them as well, and great rods. Gotcha.
What do you have any kind of reels that you're impartial to pairing them with, or do you just kind of use anything and everything?
Well, I've been running the cold water. I'm making the switch to the Daiwa this year.
Are you?
So
gotcha.
I'm excited to run their gear.
Gotcha. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I like the cold waters, as everybody knows,
right.
But yeah, I mean, I've done the Daiwas a handful of times. I just don't like how they feel. I mean, It's plain and simple. I'm sure they're an awesome reel. I can't get past the feel of them.
Yeah, I've got to look at it from a business standpoint.
Right.
As much time as we're fishing, I've just wearing the cold waters out too quick.
Yeah. Have you done much with the SSs?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Still, I have the same issues, and I've got some friends running the Daiwas, and they've ran same reels for the last 3 years, 4 years, and no issues at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still got to take care of them, but no issues.
Yeah. Very cool. Do you have your first Springer trip booked for the year?
I don't.
No, you don't.
I don't.
Oh.
I did, and they decided to cancel.
Oh, gotcha. Well, when are you planning to start? Do you know, or just kind of when that steelhead's done?
Probably that first week of April, I'll really start, unless I start getting better reports.
Right.
Then I'll start advertising more for springers.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Hard to go out there hoping for one bite right now when we can go hook a few fish, steelhead fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just curious how we're looking on time here. Oh, we're looking pretty good.
All right.
So, alrighty. Let's see here. What's next? I was going to ask you a question and it rolled off the tip of my tongue. So other than obviously salmon, steelhead, sturgeon, we already talked about that. What other kind of trips do you offer?
That's it right now. Well, kokanee and trout.
Gotcha.
Next year, once I get all the gear and everything, I'm going to be doing walleye as well.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So,
you run way upriver to do that?
There's some spots upriver, and I've got some other spots closer to home.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Gotcha. Very cool.
But it's just getting the gear.
Yeah.
I've got enough gear for me, but
getting gear for clients and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense. What kind of makes you want to get into the walleye gear? Just one more tool, or walleye fishing. One more tool in the belt.
Just another fishery, something to do. And then like when we've got that January sturgeon season, it's Wednesdays and Sundays or Saturdays, whatever it is. So on the days we're not fishing, I can stay over there and fish walleye.
Right. So, and then it just keeps you busy and makes it justifiable for you to stay down there, because you're up in Castle Rock. Yeah. That's a long way to drive 3 days a week.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I get that. Just trying to make sense of yourself and
run catch and release trips. Half day walleye, half day catch and release, and then keepers the following day.
Yeah. Gotcha. So getting back to sturgeon there for a little bit. So you went and did that. The 2 days.
Yeah.
How was that?
The 2 days.
How was that?
Lots of fish.
Yeah. I didn't get to do it. I was working on this fucking pile of shit.
And that's a lot of guys. Oh, we thought it was going to stay open longer. Well, I tried to tell you guys.
Yeah.
675 fish.
Oh, it's going to go quick.
Quota's not very many.
Yeah.
And then everything else was shut down. So what does everybody have to fish for?
Yeah, yeah. I because what did they give us originally? I can't remember off the top of my head. Wasn't it only like 6 days or something like that?
13 days.
13 days. That's right.
And I was booked every single day.
Yeah, yeah. And they closed it after 2.
2 days.
And from what I was told, they should have closed it after day 1.
They should have closed it after day 1, just from what I seen. But,
Yeah.
And it wasn't the guides.
Yeah.
There was more sport fishermen fishing for sturgeon than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But the fishing was like what I grew up with it. It was 7 days a week. You could keep 10 or 15 fish back then. And you could always go out and catch a sturgeon.
Yeah, yeah. And, a lot of people like to try to blame shit on guides. Like, I try to be an advocate for guides just because, without having guides, especially guides that are doing the, I would say kind of the nonprofit side of things with taking veterans and the really cool side of shit. Like, the guides give the fisheries and stuff so much exposure and just another... What's the word I'm trying to think of here? The guides are just another weapon that we have in our fight for these fisheries, you know. And the sports fishermen, everybody likes to talk. Everybody likes to say, "Oh, we need to do this. Oh, we need to do that." Well, the guides are the majority of the guys that are fighting the fight.
We got to, it's our livelihood.
Yeah, yeah. A bunch of nutsacks like me that go out on the weekends, it's not our livelihood.
Right.
You can fight for it, but you're not fighting for the same reasons.
Right.
You guys are fighting to try to keep food on the table for yourselves and your families.
Well, not only that though, we're trying to preserve that resource.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And if we may not agree with all the rules and regulations, but there comes a point in time that maybe we have to shut it down just so our future has fish to fish for.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It looks like it's getting closer and closer to that every year.
Yeah. But, well, look at it this year. We've fished the Cowlitz. You got to have a double clipped fish before you can even keep it.
Yeah, yeah. So explain a little bit about that, because we haven't got into that at all in our kind of regulations side of things here on the podcast. So you got to have the adipose fin. What else are you looking for?
Ventral fin.
So that's the one
that's
kind
the
of
front one up here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Kind of their shoulder, right side, left side. One of the two's got to be clipped, and the adipose.
Gotcha.
So and that happened from 2020, mismanaging fish and ocean conditions, whatever else. And so they took Kalama stock and introduced it into the Cowlitz, and those are the only fish that we're allowed to kill this year, are those Kalama fish.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So and they specifically did the double clips on those fish, knowing that this was going to happen on the 4 or 5 year end of the return.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of people don't, but it's research and going to the meetings and all that.
yeah. So. I guess I'm kind of the pot calling the kettle black, because I've never been to a single meeting. But I need to start trying to do something, especially having my kids and stuff. Like, I want them to be able to catch fish when they're older.
Well, and that was the thing. So, like I said earlier, growing up fishing the high lakes at the mountain with my dad, that's what we did every summer. We'd go camp up there. He worked down at Longview Fiber at the time, and so back then they had a weird schedule, but that's all summer we were camped up there. So I was looking forward to taking my kids up there when they were old enough, and I had kids, and now we can't even access any of that.
Yeah, man.
And then Green River too, now there's not crap for fish in there anymore.
Yeah.
You can go catch some wild fish in the winter.
Yeah. Well, shit. I'm trying to think of what's next. I'm trying to cover a lot of topics here.
Right.
Because you got some good information, but I don't know. Can you think of anything else? Anything else you got burning a hole in your...
Not really. I am looking forward to kokanee fishing.
Are you? Yeah. We could talk about kokanee here.
Yeah. So you went out today.
Yeah.
So how was it?
It was tough. First thing in the morning, there were probably 4 boats, and we were all kind of spread out, so I don't have much of a report as to how they did.
Right.
We by about 10:15 when Adam had to take off, we had 9. And we had kind of just started to get into a decent little bite when Adam had to take off. You fucking bastard. But anyways, Adam had to take off, and I had my lady and my kids meet me down there in Woodland, and ran back up there, and we got we got bit 4 times from about 12:30 to 3:30 when I had to take off to get back up here, and we ended up killing 2 more of them. So we got 11 total. It was tough.
I have found that afternoon bite can be tough. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm brand new to the fishery.
Okay.
This is only my second time doing it.
All right.
So I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs of it.
I gotcha.
So.
Like I run downriggers quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys don't. I like to stack my downriggers, run 4 rods, 2 on each side and then 2 out back, flatline them.
Yeah.
Try to figure out the depth on those fish, because me personally, just because I'm marking them on my screen, I don't have good luck getting those fish to bite all the time.
It's the same way with salmon and everything for me. The fish I mark, I don't get them.
Right. But. Right. It's cool when you do, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's really cool when you do. But so that's why I run, I'll start one way deep and then come up 20 feet above it or so.
Yeah.
And then you got your back out.
Yeah. So kind of first thing in the morning, do you kind of start them on the deeper end, or do you start shallow and work your way down? Kind of how do you go about doing that? Or is it kind of time of the year thing?
Well, so in the morning, I'll start everything on top. Look and see if there's any jumpers.
Yeah.
And go from there. If I'm marking fish deep, then I'll start downrigging and dropping rods down.
Yeah, that's one thing that was pissing us off this morning is we had jumpers all over the place and we were flatlining and we couldn't get them to go.
Oh, man.
It was
frustrating. Yep.
You bastards.
Real frustrating.
Yeah, but we got into a couple decent little bites. I think we had a triple at one point and a couple doubles, and it was just they were sparse, and we'd circle back on them and couldn't get them to go. But I mean, 11, it's not a horrible day.
No, not at all.
But the kids had a blast. They always love reeling in a couple fish. It's always a little bit of a fight. My daughter caught the first one, and then my son lost the next 2. And then so it's like, well, shit, he just lost 2. Do I give the next one to her?
Right.
Or do I let him catch one? So they actually split the last fish. So
there you go.
My daughter reeled it into first, and my son reeled in the last half of it. And trying to keep the peace there.
Yeah. No, it's a great fishery for beginners and kids especially. It's usually very action-packed, and you lose just as many as you catch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been fishing consistently since probably my sophomore year of high school when I got my driver's license. So shit, probably 10 years, 11 years now. And even though I've been fishing that amount of time, it's still, 2 trips in, I'm still having a tough time figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I know some guys that fucking hammer them.
Yeah, me too.
So it's just trying to figure it out, and we'll get there eventually. It's a blast.
And that's like any fishery, just because something worked yesterday doesn't mean it's going to work today, and you just got to keep trying and
it's like even something that worked this morning might not work in a couple hours from now.
Right.
Shit changes with sun coming up. Shit change. Yeah, shit's always changing.
Yeah,
so.
They remind me a lot of springers.
Yeah, yeah.
As finicky and picky as they can be sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are you kind of an Aeroflash guy? Do you run Brad's Dodgers? Are you impartial to any of them?
I'm not impartial. I run them all.
Yeah, you run what works.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's starting out the day. Each rod's got something different on it.
Yeah. That's one thing that kind of cracks me up is because I'm obviously not affiliated with anybody.
Right.
And you get some guys that are just so impartial to one or the other. And I can tell you, we had 11 dead fish today. We probably hooked into 18 to 20.
Right.
And I would say it was probably 50-50. Brad's and Aeroflash, it didn't matter. And the corn didn't matter either. Adam did up a special batch of corn. I did up my batch, which was just corn, tuna. I did some anise and krill, and nothing super crazy. And it got bit just about the same as Adam's special stuff that he did.
Well, and everybody makes fun of me because I don't use shoe peg corn. I use sweet corn because it's in the cupboard, and that's what we should have stock in. The wife buys it by the case, so it's just what I use. I might throw a little egg cure on it and throw some krill and bloody tuna in the mix. And call it a day.
Yeah. I've come to learn that fishermen love to overcomplicate shit.
Yes. and I'm guilty as that.
I'm guilty of it too. It's horrible. I'll start looking at little shit. It's like, oh fuck man, I've been running this pink spinner for, a little bit. What if I were to run a purple?
Right.
Or, this is dumb shit.
So the other day I had a kid out. We were steelhead fishing, and Dude, he was hooking fish after fish after fish, but not getting good hooks in them.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out what's going on. I'm just overcomplicating everything, and all it was how I had the bead set up.
Oh yeah.
Next day we go out and we started pinning fish every time it bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I'm not a bead fisherman. So what kind of adjustment did you make to kind of help that hookup? Did you move it a little closer to the hooks, a little further away?
just changed the way I was having it on there.
Oh,
and
okay.
without going into too much detail on that, because I do rig them a little bit different, I just had to go back to running a normal bobber stop on it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So-
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, that's something.
And it was just the way they were biting that day, so keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. That's I'm gonna get a little off the walls here. When I bought this boat, it had a jet pump on
Yeah,
it.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. I mean, even right now, the cowling says 80 horse factory jet.
Right.
The first thing I did within a week or two of buying this boat was I took the prop off, threw a bait kit. Took the pump off, threw a bait kit on it, threw a prop on it, and I was fucking ready to roll. I sold that jet. And I didn't think I'd ever have any interest in doing anything tributary. I was like, those small rivers are fucking stupid. And now here I am a couple years later, kind of wishing I had that jet pump, because I'm hearing all these cool stories of guys, doing the tributary stuff. And I started doing a touch of it this year, and I'm like, no shit.
It's fun, and like growing up on the Cowlitz, like I said, Blue Creek's crazy, but there's a whole river there that you can go find your own spot and fish.
Yeah.
And you can get away from those crowds, but you can't do it without a pump.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Even with having my prop on there, I launched there on one of our local rivers, just this last weekend. Just sitting on the hook with divers and coon shrimp, divers and bait, and I mean, we got bit once, but I mean, it's kind of cool. It kind of means a little bit more when you go do something brand new and you have some form of success the first time.
Yes, it does.
Even though we didn't get to boat the fish, I mean, it was a fucking solid takedown, and it was gone before my buddy Larry got to it. You know, but it's still cool. Just having some little sliver of something. It's like, okay, I'm not a complete fucking idiot.
Right. Well, that's like me and bead fishing. I was against beads for the longest time because I grew up fishing bait. You know, my dad was a sand shrimp guy, and that's what we used, steelhead salmon, eggs for fall fish. And then I start going with buddies, and they're using beads, and then I'm catching fish with beads. So it's like, all right, they're effective. You don't have the mess, and they produce fish.
Yeah. I'm going to get a little off topic here. I don't think I've ever seen this much traffic up and down this road until we decided to fucking do this. So
adds character to the podcast.
Yeah. It gives it a more realistic feel. All those guys that sit in a studio and have super edited video. Fuck those dudes.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about.
No, I like this.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
More personal this way.
Yeah, that's right. So we're starting to get down here towards the tail end of the podcast, and I would feel like a giant fucking asshole if I didn't try to plug one of our sponsors and my good buddy Adam on Facebook with his fish sauce RPG, just because I got it sitting right here in front of me. For those of you guys that aren't familiar with this, it's just a wrench for your Scotty or Folby rod holders. A lot of guys use them with the slip discs. Even if you're not using the slip discs, cold weather or whatever, you can have a tough time getting that knob to turn. So it's just real simple. You slide it on the end there, you loosen it up, you can make your adjustments up or down, and I guess I got to go more than one. Yeah, so you can adjust it up or down, put it where you like it, and then you can just get that thing nice and cranked. So kind of stupid. Everybody knows about these now, but if you don't, go get yourself one. www.fishsauce.com. Adam will get you hooked up. You got any of those?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm getting them.
There you go.
Yeah, no more channel locks.
Yeah.
Save my knobs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say I'd give you one for free, but Adam's got to make money.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a business.
Yeah, that's right. So I had to pay for mine, the fucking bastard, but that's cool. I get it. So,
I have no problem paying for something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a cool idea. I'm sure. I think he already told the story on the podcast, so I don't know if I want to get into how he got into it, but it was kind of cool how he figured that out. Just looking at something simple and having an idea like that.
Yeah, it's great. You know.
Yeah, very cool. So, real quick before we take off here, take a minute, plug yourself. Where can people find you? Phone number, social media, email. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Homewater Guide Service, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Phone number is 360-355-0006. Kokanee, salmon, steelhead, sturgeon, fish.
Walleye eventually. Yeah.
Columbia River and the tributaries.
Yeah. Super cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming out again for the second day in a row.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely. Once we get into the nitty gritty of the season, I'd love to have you on again, get kind of a report, and maybe by then we'll be a little bit more fucking seasoned with this thing.
Yeah, or maybe we can get a nice day and go do it on the boat.
Yeah. I know Nick had talked about doing something on the boat. Maybe we get the three of us together and hook up some microphones and headphones, and we'll look like dummies on the water. So
that sounds like a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, alrighty, you guys have yourselves an awesome weekend. Hope you guys get out there, do some fishing, enjoy this gorgeous weather, man. And we'll see you next week. Tight lines. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Yep, absolutely. Alrighty, one last thing before we get taken off here. He wanted to throw a shout out to Talon Rods.
To Talon Rods, yeah. If you guys want to check us out or book a trip with me, you like a product, you can find us at talonrods.com. And again, we're in Woodland, Washington.
Yeah, super cool. I'm sure they'll appreciate the little ad in there. So
they treat me good. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's good to be with a place like that.
Yeah,
so
it really is.
Yeah, awesome. Alrighty, we'll throw this into the video somewhere.
All right, thanks again.
Yep. We'll see. Yep.